Hello friends, welcome to my channel GoDigit. Today in this video we will learn about values allowed property of the Business Central. So as you can see from this page, I have opened up this documentation where what Microsoft have mentioned that this property is basically is used for table fields and the page fields, right? And as you can see from the syntax that we have to type values allowed is equals to the values. So the values could be of anything, whether it could be of enum values, text values, integer values, right? So the thing is, one of the point which they have mentioned here in the documentation part as well, that this property setting is checked during the validation stage, and validation occurs only if the field or the control value is updated through UI. For example, if a value is updated on a page, or if a field is updated in a table, right? If a field is updated through application code, then the values allowed property is not validated. That means only and only when the user is working on your field, they are typing anything, they are pressing enter, and then only at that point of time the validation runs and this values allowed property gets checked, right? So if you think that you just want to go through the code itself, application code itself, then this property will be not very much helpful. So just understand that it will be helpful only from the user's perspective. So if you really want to limit the view of the user based on the certain options only you want to show the user, or you just want that user should input only the set of values only in the limited part of the values in the field, then only you can use them. Okay, so let's see the practical use case of this. So what I've done is that I've created an enum object here which is having currently 5 values. All right, uh, okay, not 5, but you can see 6 values. However, this values allowed property do understand that it is not limited for enum only. So we will see the different use cases in the coming part. So don't skip the video. So let's create a new table. First of all, I'll click on this button, click on table, and we will name the table object as values allowed testing. Okay, so the first field will be of type integer, which will be our primary key as well, of course, right? So I'll name it number and data type will be integer. Second field will be all values and it will be of type enum values allowed. Then third field will be limited values. Okay, so then we will type here enum values allowed. Okay, wrong, enum values allowed. Then fourth field will be like integer field. Okay, it will be of type integer. Then fifth field will be, let's say, text field. It will be of type text. Okay, let's say 20. All right, so let's click on finish. So our table object is ready, and as we have seen from the documentation part that this values allowed property is available for table fields and for page fields as well. So you can see from here the second field I've used enum, so here we will see all the values of the enum. But in this third field, as the name also suggests, limited values, so I just want to show only the limited values of the enum values allowed. So what I can do here is I will type values allowed as, let's say, 1 2 sorry, let's say 1 3 and 5. All right, so 135 is the number basically which denotes to the values which you can see from the enum side. So although I have 6 enums defined here, but 6 enum values defined here, but I just want that whenever user wants to work in this particular field, they want to input any particular number into this field, they will get to see only the three options, okay, from the enum. Just like in this first field, they will get to see all the options. Okay, fine. So this is the first use case. And as I said in the past as well, that values allowed property is not limited to the enum. So we will see the other cases, but let's see the first case first. So in order to see this, let me create a new page, and the page will be of object name will be values allowed testing. Okay, and values allowed testing, page type will be card, click on next, number, all values, limited values, integer field, and last is text field. Okay, finish. So my page is also ready. But the thing is, I don't want to use the values allowed at this particular moment. So just let's go and see the case one. What I will do here is that in the launch.json, I'll just see if the page is set to 50100. Yeah, that it is. So now compile the project and let's run this. So when this page will run, we will get to see how and what is the use case of this property. Okay, close this up, login. Okay, so click on plus, number. So you can see the all values because the data type is enum. So if I select this up, I get to see all the 6 values, which is blank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can select any option out of these 6. Let me select 2. Now in the third field, limited values, if I see, click on it, although I'm using the enum only, which has the 6 values, but my view is limited now. I get to see only 3 options, which is 1, 3 and 5, which lies into the limited value section based on this values allowed property, stands for 1, 3, 5, right? So that means the user can only see these 3 options and can only input out of these 3. User cannot select 2, right? So I have to select only 1, 2, 3 in between. And that is the first use case of this values allowed testing. In the integer and text field at this moment, I can type anything, right? Okay, so we have seen now the first use case. Let's go back to the VS Code again, and this time on the page itself, what I will do that in the limited value section field only, what if I try to use the values allowed again, and this time I'll type only 0 and 2. Okay, so you can see here that now I'm using the values allowed in the page also based on uh, the different values, so that if you see in the table, I have set the values allowed to 135, but on the page I'm setting 0 2, which are way different, right? So if I compile the project, I see no error, where because I'm adding the validation in the same field but different object. So let's see which uh, which object basically overrule its counterpart. So what I'll do, I'll publish and let's see whether the page field will win or the table field will win. Okay, so I will see 135 or blank and 2. So click on plus and 2. In the all values, I will see all the things like this. In the limited, now I can see only blank and 2. So I can select only this or I can select only blank, right? This means, this shows that though if you are adding the values allowed property on a table field, then do not add the same property on the same field at the page level, because then the page level will overrule your table validation, right? So either use it on the table level, either use it in the page level, but not in the both places, because then the page will overrule. Okay, so this is a second use case of this values allowed property. Now, as I mentioned, that this property is not basically limited to the enum side only, but we can utilize this into some other types of field as well. So that is why I have used two different data type fields, which is one is the integer field and second is the text field. And now I will use this values allowed property at the page level against these two fields. So let's say this is my integer field, and if I really want to use this, so here I can type that user can input only the limited integer numbers, like for example, let's say 100 or 200, like this, right, or maybe 300. Okay, so this means that in this integer field, although it is not an enum where user will get to see the options, but if user type any other number, let's say 1 2 3 apart from this, then they will get an error. The same type I can use the values allowed, or what I will do here is that let's see this, and I'll copy this syntax only. Okay, so I'll paste this up. Okay, so now you can see that as soon as I paste this up, I'm getting an error. Why? Because I'm using this property in my text field, and because text field is in a complete string in one itself, so I have to add braces in each of the values which I'm passing in the values allowed, right? In the integer at the time of integer, I'm not getting any error because it was an integer data type, so system will consider them as a number. But now in the text data type field, system will consider each value as a string in itself. Okay, so I can input only these three types of string values in my particular text field. So let's build the project and let's publish it. So then we will see what will be the results. One more thing is that yeah, okay, fine, let's publish this first and let's click on plus. 4, I'll select 1, I'll select 2. Now in this integer field, let's say if I type 1, I press enter. So you can see here that validation is running at the UI level, right? I type something, user is typing something, and press enter, and then the validation is running, and then I'm getting an error. And what is the error? The error is value 1 is not a valid value. The following values can be used: 100, 200, 300. That means system is telling us as well that the value which you are typing is not uh, limited or not useful for this particular field. You can use only the fields under this particular range, right? So user system is giving an error and the solution as well to the user, that if you type 100 you will not get any error, if you type 200 you will not get any error, if you type 300 you will not get any error, but if you type 400 or let's say 10 you will get the error, right? So let's type 100 here. In the text field, let's say if I type go digit, press enter, I'll get an error. Place your cursor here and you will see that following values are allowed, which is code unit, page and query. Okay, so let me type here, let's say code unit, press enter. I'm still getting any error, right? Why? I'm typing the same thing, code unit. But here is the thing, C is capital, that means it's a case sensitive. I can type capital C, then code unit, then no error. I can type capital PAGE, then no error. But if I type small PAGE, I'll get an error, right? So that is a thing how it is working. That is a case sensitive, and it basically limit your user that they should input only values in the particular range itself and not any random value they can type or they can import from Excel, right? So that is the use case of the values allowed testing, where multiple cases, scenarios we have seen. based on how you can utilize this property in the table level, in a page level, on a same field, and then on a different type of data type fields as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, I request you to please hit the like button. Thank you. Bye bye.